Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all?
Morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Very warm and pleasant good morning. So, yesterday we were dealing with the chapter which we have already done, that is about the sermon at Banaras, about Gautam Buddha, about Kisa Gautami, about life, death, sorrows, suffering, and selfishness. So we had begun the chapter and we have also finished reading the chapter. Question answers we shall discuss now. What you have understood, any doubt, any confusion. Already I had asked you yesterday to go through the questions and answers and come up with your doubts, whatever doubts you have. So if anybody has any doubt, he is most welcome to discuss among us. Anyone is there who has anything which he has not understood, any confusion? Clear, everybody? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, Charvi. What about others? Clear everything? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Very good, very good, very good. So it was a simple incident, a simple narration, the incident of death of a woman and her suffering, her crying over the death of her son. She wants him to come to life, but it is impossible for one who has died. It's impossible for him to come to life, but he can be immortal by sacrificing his selfishness, his selfish desire. So, desire is the cause of all sorrow, all suffering, according to the chapter, according to the Lord Buddha. Now, let's discuss some of the questions and answer me what you have understood. When her son dies, Kisa Gautami goes from house to house. What does she ask for? Does she get it? Why not? I repeat the question. When Kisa Gautami's son dies, she goes house to house. Why does she go house to house? Shrestha. Why does she go house to house? Yes, Shrestha.
Sir, Kisa Gautami goes house to house to ask someone for a medicine for her dead son, but she didn't get it because no one can bring a dead person and make him alive again.
So first
This is
she,
dead and everyone.
yes. First, she goes asking for a medicine. She goes to the neighbor, she goes to people, and she asks for the medicine if anybody has got the medicine. And then somebody guides her to Rishi, to Lord Buddha. His name was earlier Sakya Muni. Somebody informs her, tells her that go to Sakya Muni. Then later on, she goes according to the guidance of Sakya Muni. Why does she go house to house again? Second time, why does she go house to house? Yes,
So for
Shrestha.
collecting mustard.
Yes, speak, Mohit.
So for collecting mustard.
Answer properly. Any one of you? Complete answer.
Sir,
Yes, speak.
sir, she again went house to house because Buddha said that she need to bring mustard seeds from a house where no one has lost somebody, some beloved, to
So,
make her
yes, as she was told by Lord Buddha to go and bring, to go and collect the mustard from the family. But it should be such a family where no one has ever died. So therefore she goes there. Does she get it? Why not? Answer me. Does she get it what she was ordered? Yes, Arshi Dangi. Does she get what she was ordered by Buddha? Arshi. Does she get it? Naira. Naira
No,
Qureshi.
sir. She didn't get it because she can't find such a house where no death has occurred.
Yes.
And she realized that the death spares nobody, and whosoever is born has to die one day.
Yes, exactly. So that is the reason she doesn't find what she was asked by Lord Buddha to bring. Kisa Gautami again goes from house to house after she speaks with the Buddha. I repeat, she again goes house to house after she had spoken with the Buddha. What does she ask for the second time around? Does she get it? Why not? So already we have discussed the question first and second both. First time she went asking for the medicine, she did not get the medicine, and second time she went as guided by Buddha asking for the mustard seed, but she did not get the mustard seed because there was no family where any of their relative or someone had not died. What does Kissa Gautami understand the second time that she failed to understand the first time? Was this what the Buddha wanted her to understand? I repeat, what does Kissa Gautami understand the second time that she did not understand first time? Was this what the Buddha wanted her to understand? Yes, Charvi.
Sir Kisa Gautami understood that death cannot be prevented. It has to come and it must come if one is born in the human form, then it must come. All living beings die. So Kisa Gautami understood this afterwards. After she didn't find any mustard seeds from a house where no one has died. But first, before this, before she went to house for mustard seeds, um, she didn't understand this, and she didn't understood the reason why Buddha asked her for such a thing.
Okay, all right. Yes, Naira also wanted to say something. Yes, Naira Qureshi, same question.
Yes, sir. She understood that death will come to everybody, as it's everybody is subjected to death, and she thinks that over the fate of men, and uh, she also sat on the roads where the lights of the city, which were flicking, extinguished again. So yes, it is truth that the Gautam Buddha wanted her to understand this only.
Okay, very good. Next question. How do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? How do you, question number 5, how do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? Do you agree with Kisa Gautami that she was being selfish in her grief? Anyone of you? What is your understanding about selfishness? What is being selfishness? Any one of you? What do you mean by idea of selfishness? Any one of you?
So,
Yes, Charvi.
selfishness means getting what we want, and everything for ourselves. When we don't consider what is happening with others, we just think of ourselves and we just want the thing to be get done. This is known as selfishness, according to me.
Okay, what you say, Naira Qureshi?
Sir, in my opinion, I understand that thinking of oneself only means selfishness, and um, it to concern only of ourselves. And I, yes, sir, this is the only answer.
So, being concerned only about self, being self centered, not thinking about anyone else, anybody else, that I am the only one. I am the only one who requires this or who has undergone this. Yes, Mohit also wanted to say something. Mohit,
No, sir.
you had raised the hand the previous time. Okay. So that's
Yes,
what
sir.
That's what is selfishness. Being selfish, not caring for others, not thinking about others, only concern about self and self. And the question is, do you agree with Kisa Gotami that she was being selfish in her grief? Do you agree that she was selfish?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Rista. How would you elaborate? Explain.
Yes, sir. Kisa Gotri was getting selfish because she didn't knew that everyone has lost someone. She thought that she has only undergone this pain, and she understand this when she asked house to house to for mustard seeds who have not lost their beloved. But when she asked for mustard seeds, she get the mustard seed, but no one there was no family who had not lost her beloved.
So
So
she
she
was,
understood it. That is
yes. She was being selfish about her son. She thought that only I have lost my son, none of the other people. But then later on, when Buddha explains to her with the example of mustard seed, asking her to bring it from the house when no death has taken place, she couldn't find anyone. And then she realized that it is not that she has experienced death or loss or suffering, but everybody else has experienced it. So, being selfish for the love, attachment to her son. This is called attachment. Yesterday also I told you, being attached to the earthly life, materialistic things, relations, bonding, family members. That is the attachment, love. And according to him, that is the source or that is the cause of all suffering and sorrow. If we are not attached, yes, I know that we are attached, everybody is attached. But he says that if a human being is not attached to this worldly life, he is not selfish about love towards his relatives, parents, brother, sister, friend, family, earthly life, then he would be immortal. He would go to heavenly life. He is not selfish. So only these are the questions given there. There are some extra questions in the chapter. You may get short answer, long answers question. So you can go through the story, go through the chapter once again. Whatever your doubts, whatever you do not understand, you can come up with your doubts tomorrow. But I don't think any one of you will have any problem, any doubt. Isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we move on to next chapter, that is the proposal. I had also asked you to read the chapter, the proposal, and come. Go through the characters written for you on the board. The author is Anton Chekhov. and the theme is the marriage, Russian wedding, Indian wedding, and other wedding of the world. Everybody can see it on the board. Now, how many of you have read this chapter? Just raise your hand or tell me how many of you have gone through this chapter, the summary or the characters. So, one is there, Shrestha is there, Naira Qureshi is there, very good. Two students, Charvi also is there, very nice. What about others, rest of the students? Don't you get proper time? Vishi Khandelwal is there. So you must go through the chapter, all the chapters which we are going to read and all the chapters which we have already read, because it helps you in understanding the concept, idea, theme, characters, all this. So there are 4 students, Shrestha, Naira, Charvi and Vishi. Now I would like one of the students to tell the class the story, the summary of the chapter in their own words. And that lucky person is going to be, already one has left, Vishi is there, Charvi is there, Shrestha is there. So that lucky person out of 3 is Vishi Khandelwal. Vishi, can you say the story or summary of the story in your own
Yes,
words
sir.
clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
okay. So first, Vishi is going to tell us the summary of the story, the proposal. Already for your reference, I have written on the board. The theme is the marriage, Russian wedding, Indian wedding, and other wedding of the world. The characters are S.S. Chakubo. S.S. Chubukov, one character. He is a landowner or a landlord. He has a daughter. The name of his daughter is Natalia. She is 25-year old. Another character is Ivan V. Lomo. He is a neighbor of Shabuko. So both of them are neighbor. He is a hearty man, but suspicious. He is a suspicious landowner. And the common thing about all these 3 characters is that they always quarrel with each other. They are quarrelsome creature. They are quarrelsome characters. They quarrel with each other or anybody at a small thing. So that's short introduction about themselves. And now quarreling also is there, but the title of the chapter is the proposal. So proposal is related to the term here for marriage. There are also other meaning of the word proposal. So for example, we can say that somebody has sent me a proposal of making an English medium college in Jhalawad. So proposal also here stand for suggestion. Somebody has sent me a proposal. That is a suggestion, wish, desire to make an English medium college. So that's proposal. But here the proposal stand for the marriage or asking a girl's hand in marriage. When I say asking a girl's hand in marriage, which literary device is used here? I have come to ask your daughter's hand in marriage. Which literary device? I have come to ask your daughter's hand in marriage. Which literary device? Anyone? Any one of you?
Metaphor or symbolism?
Synecdoche. Synecdoche. I have come to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. So I have told you that when a body part represent the whole personality, whole persona of someone, that is synecdoche. For example, it could be hand, nose, eyes, lips, mouth, many other things. So proper one is synecdoche. Now, who was that person who was going to tell? Vishy Khandelwal, tell
Yes, sir.
summary in your own words. Yes, Vishy. And others will.
Yes, sir. Sir, the play begins with the Romo entering Mr. Chubuko's hall, where Chubuko was surprised to see Romo that why he came here. He thought that he came here for lending money, but but when told him uh, uh, but when Romo make a request to marry his daughter, Chubuko's daughter Natalia, he was surprised and very excited. Then Chubuko called his daughter Natalia, and he left the hall and told them to talk. Natalia was a 25-year-old girl, and Ramov was an old gentleman of 35-year-old who suffers from palpitations and get upset very easily. And he thought that it was his best age to marry, so he requested the hand of Natalia to marry him. But when Natalia arrives, Romo begins the conversation, and he was very happy to see Natalia. Uh,
Yes.
then Romo mentioned about a land that who about a land that he got the land and told Natalia the land was of Oxen Meadows, which earlier was a disputed property, but now Romo got that. Natalia couldn't believe any word of Romo, and he only hears Romo's talk. Then uh, they throw Chubuko entered the hall, and they thrown out Romo from their house, and Chubuko told Natalia that Romo came here for marriage. Then Natalia, shocked and called Romo inside, and again they quarrel with each other. Then again they continue arguing, and suddenly Romo get a panic attack, and he fall down. Chubuko took a glass of water and gave it to Romo, but he can't drink, and he considered that he was dead. Then suddenly Romo remove
Mhm.
remove uh, sir,
Okay.
I know that this
Okay. Very good. Very well said, Vishy. You have spoken very well. Whatever you remembered, you have spoken very well. Now, Charvi, I would like you to continue, or I would like you to start from the beginning again and complete the summary in your own words. Whatever she had left, whatever she had excluded, you can include all those things and tell everything in detail. Yes, Charvi, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So Ivan V. Lomov came to Chubukov's house for asking to marry uh, Chubukov's daughter Natalia. Uh, but as soon as Chubukov goes to call Natalia, and Natalia returns, she didn't know that Lomov has come here for a marriage proposal for herself. So as soon as Lomov tries to begin the matter of proposal, she he says about Oxen Meadows, which he said were his. So Natalia questions him that whether the Oxen Meadows were him or her, his or hers. So then they continue to argue on Oxen Meadows. Then who who owned the land. So after that, Lomov uh, Lomov gets a panic attack. He falls down and he leaves the home, while Natalia and Chubukov also tell him to go out of their house. After Lomov is out of the house, Natalia gets to know that Lomov has come for a marriage proposal. So she again calls Lomov back and asks for marriage. But as soon as they again start up speaking, Lomov again says that guess his dog is better than Natalia's dog Squeezer. So they again argue over that whose dog is better, and they just continue to argue and shout on each other. After that, again gets a panic attack, and he he falls down on the sofa, and Natalia and Chubukov consider that he's dead. They get very upset because he had come for Natalia's marriage. But then suddenly Lomov wakes up again, and and as soon as he wakes up, Chubukov orders that Natalia shall marry Lomov, and they get married. But they after getting married, still they were fighting over whose dog is better,
Yes,
and the story ends.
yes. So it starts with a normal entry of Ivan Lomo into the big house of SS Chabuko. He just went there to ask his daughter's hand in marriage, but then it ended up in quarreling. They quarreled, all the three of them, over the silly matter. First, about the oxen meadows, about the property, about the land, about the dog also, that whose dog is better. And then the marriage was settled. Ivan had got heart attack. He had fallen, and SS Chabuko, he had given his daughter's hand into his hand, accepting the proposal. But after that, again, both of them started quarreling over the silly matter. So this is the short, simple story. But this is a drama. This is a one-act play, one-act skit. That means there are no different parts like scene one, scene two, scene three, scene four, fifth onwards. No, this starts with the first part, and throughout the story, throughout the drama, all the three characters remain on the stage. They talk to each other, they do their performance, and then they leave. So this is called one act play. As you know that the play or the skits are divided into many parts, 3, 4, 5, but this one is not. So therefore it is called one act play. Now we read it from the book, word by word, line by line, whatever is mentioned there, and then we shall finish it off. So first, initially I am beginning it, then I will ask one of you to read it. Chapter 11, the proposal by Anton Chekhov. And before we read, the word proposal has several meanings. Already we have discussed together the meaning of the word proposal. It means suggested, it also means asking someone's hand in marriage. And the chapter begins first with a Russian wedding. It gives us information about a Russian wedding and what similarity, what is common between a Russian wedding and an Indian wedding. We shall come to know after having read this introductory part. Do you know anything about a Russian marriage ceremony? Read this article about a Russian wedding. Preparations for a Russian wedding. A Russian wedding is very simple. The planning only includes arranging for rings, bride's dress, cars, and a reception. Earlier, the bride's family paid for the reception, but nowadays, bride's and groom's family usually share expenses. So it happens in India also now. Earlier, only the bride's family or somewhere the culture in northeast, etc., the bridegroom's family used to pay even for the bride, even from bride's side. So both the parties expenses would be taken by only the bridegroom in some other state of India, whereas now it has been it has been very common that both the families, the bride's family and bridegroom's family, they divide the expenses. Whatever the expenses, it is done equally, 50-50, and that's a good thing. So this also is part of Russian culture in Russia. Now, let's continue. A Russian wedding lasts for 2 days. Some wedding last as long as a week. So what do you say? In India also, some wedding last as long as a week. In India, now still it has become shortened, like 3 days mainly. But earlier it was 15 days function, 14 to 15 days, all kind of celebrations were there. Now slowly and gradually it has come to 6 to 7 days. And in the big cities where people are very busy, it is only 1 or 2 days function is there. But still 7 days function is done in some parts, especially the villages, countryside. Those people, they attempt all the ceremony, all the function. The necessary part of the wedding ceremony is a wedding procession of several cars. So in Russia, wedding ceremony's important part is procession. Like in India, we have Nikasi. We call the word Nikasi. The bridegroom sits on the horse and takes a ride around the city or some area of the city. People dance, enjoy. That is called the procession. So there it takes with cars. The best friends of the groom or bride meet before the wedding a few times, make posters, write speeches, and organize contests. When the groom arrives to fetch the bride for the registration, he has to fight to get her. So he has to fight the contest, whatever the contest they organize, speech contest, debate, or whatever is mentioned there. Russians usually live in apartments in tall buildings, and the groom has to climb several stairs to reach his bride. But at each landing, he must answer a question to be allowed to go up. The bride's friends ask difficult questions, sometimes about the bride, sometimes just difficult riddles. And the groom must answer with the help of his friends. For example, he may be shown a few photos of baby girls and he must say which one his bride is. If he guesses wrong, he must pay cash to move ahead. So same way in India also, the bridegroom has to pay some cash while entering when the barat comes and the barat and baratis enter into the marriage hall or the house of the bride. So the sisters of the bride, they ask for some money, whatever the amount they ask, and then negotiation is done, and then some amount is given to them. So this is there in India also. After the marriage registration, the newly married couple leaves the guest for a tour of the city sites. So the guests are there, but the married couple, they leave for the tour of the city sites. After 2 or 3 hours of the city tour, the couple arrives at the reception. The couple sits at a specially arranged table with their family, friends, and invited guests. The reception starts with toast to the couple. So one relative or friend of the bride or bridegroom, he raises a toast, a glass of wine to the couple, and he says some words, some respectful words or line in the respect. Says a few words to wish. A wedding toast is a custom where a close friend or relative of the groom or the bride says a few words to wish the couple. Then everyone raises their glass of wine and drink it up at the same moment. The groom is asked, the groom is then asked to kiss the bride. That's their culture. After a few toasts, people start eating and drinking and generally have fun. After some time, the bride gets stolen. Now, this is also their culture. After some time, the bride is stolen by the friends of the bridegroom. Then there are the bride's friends, they steal the bride's shoes. So this culture is in India also. The shoes of the bridegroom is stolen. It's opposite there in Russia. There the shoes of the bride is stolen. The groom must pay money for the shoe too. The guests enjoy watching these tussle and continue partying. So all these things go on and the guests enjoy their dancing and their partying. Do you think Indian and Russian weddings have any custom in common? With the help of a partner, fill in the table below. So you can tell me orally, what do you think? What are the functions common between an Indian and Russian wedding? Yes, any one of you can go ahead. Tell me, which functions?
The procession
Yes.
in India, Nakasi, and in Russian culture, procession of several cars.
Okay, procession. What else? Tell me.
Stealing bride's shoes.
Stealing bride shoes. Yes. What else? Paying cash.
Yes, sir.
What else? Okay, so you make a list of all those things, match it in the given table, and we shall continue the chapter tomorrow. Already time is over, so tomorrow we shall continue where we are leaving today. We shall discuss about the characters and read the chapter systematically. Okay, so all of you once again read the chapter. Those who have not read, go through the summary, go through the word meaning, go through the complete drama, and we shall continue reading this tomorrow. Okay, all right, all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.